Welcome back to another opportunity to learn, grow, and evolve so that we can have that higher quality of life for ourselves. And one thing I want to make very clear is that you are not alone. I am right here also doing the work daily, and there are so many other people out there who are also doing the work. Just look in the comments. There's other people asking these similar questions so that they can elevate their path and have a higher quality of life. And if you guys have any ideas for a fun community name for us, I'd love to come up with that. It just hasn't come to my mind yet, and I would love to see what creativity lies out there. But in the meantime, let's talk about something that I reference quite frequently on the channel and in my videos. And that is something called the authentic self. Now I'm going to start it off by saying a quote that I came across that I really like on the authentic self, and that is, "The authentic self is the soul made visible." Now, let's work backwards. Let's define what the authentic self is. Your authentic self is exactly who you are past all of those clouds of worry, insecurity, anxiety, depression, etc. It's when you are exactly who you are and who you want to be, making decisions out of your own values and your own needs determined by you, not living by anybody else's status quo or what they want you to be, and setting boundaries that are healthy when you've had enough of something or maybe to get out of a toxic situation. And as a result of all of these things, a self that is experiencing much more energy, much more peace, more clarity, and more creativity. Because when we are our authentic selves, we are much more in tune also with our spirit and with our intuition. And so a lot of that clarity and a lot of that creativity comes out of there. An analogy that I like to think about when I talk about the authentic self is, imagine a very, very muddy sports car. A beautiful sports car, but it's all muddy. It has all of this potential, but none of it is being expressed. It's not really being put out there with all of its beauty. But why not? Why are we not always in our authentic selves? That is a great question. And for a while, I was asking myself the same question. The reason that we are not always, or just from the start, in our authentic selves is because of conditioning, which we've talked about before. When we're young, we don't have the choice to choose how we want our life to be, to set boundaries, etc. So we just adopt whatever operating system, whatever habits and core beliefs are existing with our parental figures, our older siblings, maybe even our younger siblings, and the teachers, the authority figures around us. We adopt their way of being, and so we just really replicate whatever they are doing. Until later on, when we start to create self-awareness and we can become aware of all of that outdated conditioning that's really not ours. We adopted it, and then we get to get rid of it and choose our own way of operating in the world. We get to choose how we want to show up. We get to create our lives. But we have to unlearn all that old shit first. That's important. We gotta get rid of the old and bring in the new. And that is all about uncovering the authentic self. How do we uncover the authentic self? How do we uncover all of those unique gifts that we each have? All of those unique strengths and experiences and understandings that you have, and that the people around you would be better off for when you're expressing those things. And not just the people around you, but the world at whole, because it's a domino effect. The more that we take our masks off and express our authentic selves, the more that other people feel comfortable doing the same thing. And then we have a kinder world. We have a much more genuine, authentic world. And that's really beautiful. But how do we actually uncover the authentic self? Well, number one is we have to become aware of all that outdated shit first. So you have to breed self-awareness first. These practices could look like meditation, yoga. You could do self-inquiry journaling, therapy perhaps, even working out where you're just with yourself, just kind of having this moment of self-introspection or just reflection, walking, all of these tools, and there's many more, cognitive behavioral therapy, all these tools help breed self-awareness so that we can become aware of those habits that we have, those patterns of thinking that we have that are ending us up in anxiety maybe in the first place. When we become aware of that, we can get rid of it. And then that makes room for creating new habits, instilling maybe positive boundary setting or other habits that are going to make us better off so that we can really start to create how we want to show up in the world, how we want to express the unique gifts that we have, how we want to protect, using boundaries, our safe space so that we're not overwhelmed or living on somebody else's terms. We're living on our terms. It's self-empowerment. Living in the authentic self, operating from the authentic self is self-empowerment. It's that connection with you, with your spirit, with your intuition. And that is the way in which we start to experience a lot more peace, a lot more happiness, a lot more clarity. And again, I'm gonna say it 1,000 times, we get to express our own unique gifts and strengths and experiences and understandings, because each one of us has a story to tell. There's no doubt about it. Now, as you know, this does not happen overnight. The work that's involved with unlearning the outdated conditioning, that happens slowly but surely. And as that happens, then we get to express, and then that authentic self really gets to emerge. It's slowly but surely. So having patience with ourselves and love for ourselves for showing up in the first place is really important. But showing up for ourselves each day, recognizing that each moment is an opportunity to choose ourselves instead of choosing that autopilot and that outdated conditioning, is a win. And it's really important to celebrate those wins and slowly but surely work towards it, and not forcefully push yourself to a point where you're creating anxiety just because you're pushing yourself so hard. And not to mention, the more that we are in our authentic selves, the more that our relationships really start to have substance, because we are showing up to our relationships in our genuine nature. We get to express what we want. We get to express what we don't want. We get to really show up with each other and co-create a life of that true expression of what we value in the world, what we need in the world, what we want in the world, instead of operating on what we think other people want from us. And that is a very tiring place to live. I myself am a recovering people pleaser, and I know just how aggravating it could be to be always living on somebody else's terms. And that's it. That is it. If you guys have questions on this, please drop them below. This is something that I am very passionate about continuing to uncover within myself. And I know that it takes some time to do. But we're doing all of this together. And so asking questions can help us learn a little bit quicker and create some substance around it, because we can create fun relationships around this growth that we're doing. With that said, if you guys have other people who you think could benefit from this video, please share this with them, because the more people that we get this out to, the more people that perhaps might start operating from their authentic selves. Anyway, thank you so much for showing up on my channel. As always, your support is extremely appreciated, and I look forward to actually being able to communicate with you guys on my Instagram, my Facebook, or right here in the comments below. I look forward to seeing you in the next video, and remember, every moment is an opportunity to choose ourselves instead of operating in that autopilot of outdated conditioning. Let's learn, grow, and evolve together, and I'll see you very soon. Much love.